Welcome all to the October 1st meeting of the Historic Districts Commission in Concord. Our first application and item is the Concord Center for the Visual Arts space at 37 Lexington Road. And I believe Kristen First is here to lead us through the application and the proposed changes.
Before that, we need roll call and
Oh, sorry, yes.
voting members.
So Tim Whitney,
Here.
Walter Clay,
Here.
Louis Caldera,
Here, yep.
Melinda Shumway,
Here.
Kristen Dahlman,
Here.
and Bill Hewitt.
Here.
And Kate Turner is recused for this item. So I believe we can commence with this application.
Okay.
Catherine,
Voting
Lewis
members.
and I are also recused.
Yes, okay, so
So, but we need to state voting members, please. Voting members for this.
voting members will be Walter Clay, Melinda, Kristen, and Bill Hewitt, and myself.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen First. I live at 437 Nishotic Road in Concord, and I am the representative this evening for Concord Center for the Visual Arts, and I am the landscape designer on the project. So this project has been before the commission several times over the last couple of years. It was last approved in August of last year. Since that approval, portions of the project were reviewed. We had to go to the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board and request a variance. That variance was denied, and I will go through that with you. And as a result, we've made several changes that we are bringing forward to you tonight, in addition to a few other items.
Could I ask you to just explain what that organization is? It's the first time I've heard of it in this committee.
Maybe Anne could also weigh in on this, but the Architectural Access Board reviews, I think it oversees 521 CMR, which is the ADA, the state ADA laws. And so as part of this project, we were designing a handrail that is required by 521 CMR. And we were requesting a variance from the code. And therefore we had to go and present it to the Architectural Access Board, and they denied that request for a change. Our request did not meet code.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so how do I share my screen? I'm going to do my best. So I just click this share button. Okay. Sharing is not, so I sent you a request. Okay. So now how do I do this? Share. Okay. So I'm going to start with, I guess, this. Share. Well, maybe I'll share.
Kim, are you able to make her a co-host?
Yes, I allowed her to share. Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I guess you can see my whole screen right now, which is kind of a mess. Let's see, I'll just do this stuff. Okay, so I just have this first image. This, if you're not familiar with the property, this is 37 Lexington Road. And the first item I wanted to share with you was a discussion about this ramp here. This ramp is part of our project. This is the existing conditions, and it is being relocated, and we're updating all of the points of egress in the building to meet the codes around access and accessibility. So this is what this present access looks like. In In August of last year, this is what we presented to you. This is the new handrail that we are proposing, or this was what was proposed in August of last year. We are now required to have handrails on two sides of a walkway. And it's quite a departure from what is currently there. And so what we were hoping to do, the code requires two handrails, one at 36 inches, and I believe the other one is at 20 inches. And it was really heavy. So we proposed a different handrail that we called it a single height handrail, which is shown in this drawing and is shown in this rendering. And the HDC approved this. But then I had to take it before the access board, and they did not approve it. As part of this process, I just want you to understand that I also met with Concord's Commission on Disabilities multiple times, and they supported this revised handrail, but the access board said no. So we had to come up with a double height handrail. And thankfully, we had somebody in our group, an architect named Tim Whitney, who came up with a lovely solution. This is the revised handrail. It is a double height handrail. It meets code. So the change is that now we have these two handrails. One is at 20 inches and one is at 36 inches. But one of the things that is sort of, I think, sort of off-putting about this design is this extension here and this swoop. Came up with a neat little solution, which is the requirement is that this handrail extend a minimum of 12 feet beyond the bottom of the ramp. And the revised design moves the post here over 12 inches and absorbs that 12 inches so that you don't have this extension look like this. So it's really nice. And then the Architectural Access Board also allowed us to add a lamb's tongue to this design. So the idea is that this top railing here will actually have a molded top like this. It won't just be a pipe. So it will look not dissimilar if we go back to the original design here. It's a little more in keeping with this. So that is the revision that we are proposing. As I said, it's been approved by the Architectural Access Board, and we're hoping that you will support this revised design. Okay, so that's the first thing. Do you want to discuss this, or do you want me to go on to the other areas?
Why don't you go on to the other items, Kristen?
Okay. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that we brought this design and the issues raised by the Access Board and my conversations with the Concord's Commission on Disability around accessibility and site accessibility. And the board at Concord Art felt really strongly that we should have our we want to make this building as accessible as possible to everybody, and not sort of go halfway. And so with that in mind, not this. What we decided was currently there's a driveway. This is the driveway right here, our narrow driveway. This is where handicap vans and would park. And currently, this is a driveway here. It's very narrow, and people have to sort of find their way down here to get onto this accessible ramp, or they have to come off the driveway down this stone public way onto our new accessible handicap ramp here. And we thought that it would be better both to upgrade this, but also to eliminate the driveway area here and extend this walkway here and make this really an inviting entrance for all of our guests so that they didn't feel like they were having to go around the back of the building to gain access, that this was a more welcoming, truly public entrance, not a back entrance for our visitors. So I have a couple renderings. So this is the existing conditions. This is this driveway, this sort of tongue of a driveway area. This is what it looks like now. Somebody parks here, they have to go down this sort of narrow, shadowy area. And there is a handicap ramp that currently exists back here, but sorry, I don't know if you can see this thing. I'm going to get this out of my way. But it's hard to locate. So the idea is, so this is what is currently there. You have to sort of go down this narrow area, and there actually is a ramp back there. So the idea would be to bring this pathway, rip up the driveway, extend this pathway all the way down here, put up a sign here that indicates that this is an accessible entrance and it's the entrance to our garden, and make this really a public entrance. So it would involve a bluestone walkway that's 4 feet wide, plantings on either side of it, a post with a new sign. I have renderings of the sign. And just along here where this bluestone path meets the asphalt drive, there's 2 feet of crushed stone here just to address snow and water in that area. So yeah, here's just a different rendering of how this walkway would meet this existing asphalt area. And there's the shrubs and the signage. Yeah, so this would be the proposed materials, bluestone.
Can I just ask a fact question before you leave that rendering? It seems to depict a fence on the left-hand side. Is that existing? Is that the neighbors? Is that part?
That is an existing fence that we've had approved by you in the past.
Thank you.
Right, that does not currently exist, but that's been part of our plan from the beginning. Yeah, so the materials, this is the crushed granite that would be put between the asphalt. It just would be a 2-foot strip to protect the planting, the walkway, the asphalt. Okay, yeah, that's the next request, is removing this asphalt and replacing it with this walkway. So that's this area here. The other changes are just that we're requesting that this revised change of these handrails be applied to these handrails here. And so the other little changes, there's just the addition of some granite edging here. It would really barely be visible from the street. That is just to contain the grade. We've made a few grading adjustments. In this area back here, I do not believe this would be visible. This was a low concrete retaining wall to protect the bulkhead. We're replacing that with granite curbstone. we have eliminated, there was a granite trough here. I'm not showing that, but we've eliminated that now. We don't need that. And then another change that is a little more significant is that this fence here, which is a utilities fence, if we look at, we'll go back to this rendering here. This is what was approved. This is a vertical board fence, and it was designed to match the other fences that we had proposed on site. It was to be painted white to match the historic building, but these were vertical boards. What we are proposing now instead is to better match the clapboard and that part of the architecture. We are proposing something more similar to this. So it'll be horizontal boards instead of vertical boards that will surround the utility area, and they will be painted to match the building. And then the last part is our lighting changes, and that might take a while. So do you want me to jump into that, or do you want to discuss what I've discussed, or should I go ahead and talk about lighting?
Please go on. Talk about
Okay.
Yes, please.
All right, lighting. So I am presenting this as an entirely new plan instead of a revision. There were enough changes that that I think it's just easier to present it as a new plan. So what this drawing shows is all of these the red items on here. I don't know if you can see this, are existing lights. So the red circles indicate sconces that are on the building. There's just a couple of them on either side of these doors, on either side of the front main entrance, one to the side of this entrance. And I'm also showing in red, these are downlights that are part of the architecture. These squares right here, these red squares indicate existing floodlights. And in talking to people at Concord Center for the Visual Arts, they're never used. And they initially were, some of them were on timers, some were on motion detection. They don't work, and we're removing all of them. So that's what the existing exterior lights are for the building. What we are proposing are the following, are the addition, because these are now accessible entrances. This walkway from here all the way down to the new classroom building, we're locating these path lights along this walkway here. These are set, this is all going to be ground cover along this side of the walkway, and that's where these are set here. Again, these are set on this side of the pathway, and and then over here on this walkway, we have the same thing. These are these low path lights, and that is, to be specific, they are these lights, but they would be in a, I think I would just want to make sure I have the color right. They are in painted, it's a painted bronze finish. So it's very dark brown finish is what these would be in. They're approximately 13 to 15 inches tall. And just to clarify, these are LED lights, and the lumen output on these is less than the output of a 40-watt incandescent bulb. So that's it for this walkway. So we have 6 along here. We have 4 along here. And then in addition, on this post where the new signage is, we have one tiny little light that just illuminates the sign. That's this. It's just a little tiny down light. that would fit on the post. And on, and then, okay, so that's the main thing. And then here we do have two existing, I didn't show this because they're broken. We have two existing path lights on in the grass here, and we're replacing those with these flat recessed path lights in the granite. And I'm showing them on either side here. They will just illuminate the bottom step. And then we have those here. And then we have those located around this patio here. They're very small, and they are 3.5 inches in diameter. This is what they look like. They're copper finish, they patina, and you select various openings, 1, 2, 3 openings, depending on the amount of, you're hoping to illuminate. All of these would just be illuminating this space here and this walkway here. We can't have path lights along here because of the change, these elevated path lights, because of the change in grade. So these become these flush mounted path lights. And then the only other lights here are just these three raised path lights similar to the ones along here that illuminate this walkway over to the fountain in the back. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Kristen. So I now will open up the conversation to our commissioners for questions and comments.
Can I ask, before we get into any individual matter, we have clarity on what's visible from a public way, because it kind of affects all of them.
Right. So from the public way, this is the public way. This is Lexington Road right here. All right. So all of this here is visible to the public way. But in addition, because, I think the commission can weigh in on this, back here is the cemetery. And so some of this is visible. I don't think you'd be able to see any of these low lights here. You probably can see this sconce here. But in terms of the lights on this door and these sconces may shed some light, but all of these are directed downward. And as I said, these are flush to grade, and this is only 13 to 15 inches from grade. So the amount of illumination that would extend up there would be minimal.
But basically, everything is visible from a public way.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions?
I have another general question then, which was, the lighting is being presented as a new proposal, but the handrails and all, has that become an amendment to what was already approved? Just procedural question. Have we thought of that?
So when I submitted it, I did it as a new application.
Or the rails and the lighting? Essentially?
I don't know, Anne, I'm gonna defer to you on how this works.
I haven't really considered it yet, but
Not a deal
we need to
breaker.
work that out. But I
Okay.
think you have to sort of vote on what's in front of you, and it is a new application.
Very good. Then beyond that, the handrail was described as double height. It's not double height, or is it double height from what before? The measurements.
Yeah, what was before was just a single handrail.
So
Now
it's a double rail. It's not that it's double height.
right, there's one at 36 inches and one at 20 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And on the walkway over into the back there, you have a 2-foot strip of crushed stone.
Yes.
Is that considered ADA compliant?
Yes, it's not, it doesn't interrupt the movement of people. It's just
Oh.
to absorb snow.
So it's to the sides of the bluestone, not cutting across the bluestone.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see that clearly before. And the fence, the 4-foot high horizontal fence, what was the height of the vertical fence that was approved?
This fence here, it hasn't changed in height. It was 4 feet tall. And so it just is going from a
orientation.
vertical fence to a horizontal fence.
I think those are the questions that I had directly. Everything is dark sky compliant for lighting. You said it wasn't, nothing's untoward and shooting in different directions.
Yeah.
Okay. That takes care of my questions, I think.
I had 2 questions, Bill. The first is, are horizontal slat fences, is there historical evidence for that sort of thing? I understand it matches clapboard, but at least I don't see a ton of fences in historic structures with that. So that's my first question. That's for my colleagues as well, as much as you, Kristen.
I think we were thinking more about having this be as inconspicuous as possible.
Okay.
That was the idea, is and really to distinguish the proposed fences on either side of the property are painted to match the new art barn. They're going to be this dark
Okay.
black color.
I understand. I assume the
And
clapboard.
they're vertical. And so because this is against this the historic structure and it is painted white, this rendering doesn't show that
Yeah,
very
okay.
well, but it is painted white. But that was just something we were thinking that maybe that was a good idea to have it.
Got it.
But, you know,
And do the clapboard, the
Your
proposed
input.
clapboard dimensions roughly match the house?
that was the idea. I mean, we haven't designed it and taken it
Understand.
to a fabricator, but that was the thinking.
My second question is the lighting. And it was, I'm not sure I caught whether the lighting requirements are part of the access code, if that's the right word. Is that density of lighting and spacing of fixtures something that's specified by them, or is that something you've chosen?
No, they don't specify the spacing. It's just that we have to provide an illuminated walk for people because this building is open and used in the evening. So it's not the actual spacing, it's just that it needs to be consistently lit.
I'm curious in the back you chose those flush mount
Yes.
fixtures, which would like almost by definition be less intrusive from the street. What prevented you from using them on the right side and the left side?
What it is that they can interfere with access because, I'm trying to keep this walkway here as narrow as possible, and still provide full access. Actually, I'm going to use not this drawing, but this drawing is a little better. So we've actually adjusted the width here to fully accommodate the handrail and provide the minimum 4-foot dimension, but to also accommodate the light fixtures on this walkway without having them interfere with somebody using that ramp would require us to probably make that stone ramp a little wider and I'm trying to keep it as narrow as possible.
The reason I ask is the guidelines, as you've obviously read, are the overall tone is the fewer fixtures, the better. The less visible fixtures, the better. And those fixtures are a modern shape. They're 15 inches off of grade. They're pretty conspicuous.
Yeah.
And even though they're downlit and neat night sky, they're really visible and not historic. Not that there's such a thing as a historic path light, but I just my reaction is that those flush mount fixtures are just much more subtle than those modern looking stanchions. Now maybe if it's allowed, you could make them 8 inches off the ground instead of 15, but still the heads on those fixtures are pretty modern looking.
Yeah. Well, as I said, they are bronze, so in color. And the idea is that we're not using them in an area with grass so that they would be mingled in here with
Planting.
planting. So this is ferns and various ground covers in here. So is to your
That
point,
might be
we
the
don't
answer.
want them to be very conspicuous.
No, I understand. That might be the answer then.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay,
I
thank
have,
you.
I have two comments on that, Bill. One is that, given snow, probably having them
Yeah.
is up, makes sense for Concord. The other is that if you go and revisit the bollards at, Tricon, they're not terrible.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So
Okay, thank you.
that's my thought.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners? Melinda?
I'm still kind of hung up on the fencing that's supposed to match the clapboard.
Mhm.
And I understand the functionality of it to kind of disguise the utilities that are there, but I don't know. I don't know if it just ends up being more of a distraction than a hidden element.
So,
Well, we've already approved the fence there, right?
oh, but we're talking about this fence.
The design of this fence,
Yeah,
correct?
this particular fence, not
Not
the, the
not
other
the other one.
fences are these fences here, yeah, on either side. I mean, we had previously come to you and you did approve the vertical board fence. We were actually thinking that this might be better in terms of hiding it, but but as you raised and as Bill has raised, I don't think it's historic.
Yeah,
So,
not historic.
yeah, no.
I wonder also with the vertical slats, you still see the building to a degree. And in the space.
These will be tight. You will not see the building through these. The boards will butt each other. You won't see through it.
And if they're vertical, it will do that as well.
This is where all the mechanics will be, the air conditioning.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
So both fences are constructed or conceived to be constructed tight and not without being able to see through
Yes.
either orientation. Right.
Any other additional thoughts or comments from commission members?
Well, the only last thing I would think is back to the number of lights on the back patio there, and it being an arbitrary choice, and that does not need to be illuminated for compliance.
Well,
Am I correct?
so there is to manage stormwater here, we've had to we're moving all this water around here. It's all swaled. It's kind of a trick of to keep this patio as level as possible, but also have it shed water. We have some areas where there's sort of a drop, not a significant one, but I think it's important that we clearly identify the edge. Just, we don't want people, I mean, nobody's going to hurt themselves, but it's just, we want to identify where the edge is. It's just a smart thing. These are very, I mean, this rendering, is really just to locate it. They're tiny. They're 3.5 inches in diameter. And their illumination will be, it's directional. So, some of these will have 2 openings, some of them will have 3 openings, some of them will have 1 opening, just to illuminate the required area. They're not illuminating the garden area at all.
Oh, it's understood.
Yeah. It's just, we have a curb here, and a curb here. So we're just trying to, for safety in the evening, because this space is used in the evening. Yeah, clearly identify it.
Well, to clarify, I realize that my concern is light and visibility probably from the cemetery as public way and the sanctity of cemetery. But
Yes.
people are probably not going to be wandering through the cemetery in the dark at a time when the lights will be on there. So the effect, the disruptive effect on the peacefulness of the cemetery probably is not an issue.
It is not clear to me that I know that this new classroom building will be visible from the cemetery, and the building structure is visible from the cemetery. I don't believe the patio itself, because it is such a significant
Quite a drop.
I don't believe the patio itself is visible, and this illumination is very low. So I think, we have no uplighting, nothing like that.
I'm at peace.
Okay, great.
All right, if there are no further comments or questions from the commission members, we'd like to open up to public comment. Any members of the public? No? Okay, well, if there are no members of the public that wish to comment or have questions, then I would like to invite one of my fellow commissioners to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the submission for Concord Art as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Walter,
Aye.
Melinda,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Great.
All right.
Thank
Thank-
you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night. All right, so I think Kate will return and we will move on to our second application.
Thank you, Catherine. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Sorry, I was chopping onions, so I got a little sniffly. Using my time wisely.
Not a motion about Concord Art?
I was making black bean soup. I'll bring you some, neighbor.
Sure.
Okay.
Did we read the introductory statement?
Ooh,
No.
no.
Just saying.
Yeah, I know. The introductory statement. Let's see if I can pull it up. Hang on. I didn't get one this week because I was going to be recused. But... Tim, do you have one on hand? From past times, the
You can just,
hmm? Would you say I can wing it?
You can wing it.
I can't remember the Mass General Law citation number, Walter, but I appreciate that you think I could, but we are having this meeting virtually in accordance with provisions that were made by Mass General Laws during COVID and in place of meeting in person. If you would like to participate, you can use the raise your hand function on the Zoom screen here. If you are on a phone and not on a computer, you may press, I believe, *9. That will also indicate that you're interested in saying something. The way the meeting goes is I'm the chair and an applicant presents an application and commissioners comment, and then we open it for public comment. And then the commissioners go through a roll call and we vote. And then you are free to leave the meeting once your application has been decided on. So I think I covered most of that. So now going forward, I will call the roll for the voting members now that some of us are back. And first, Tim Whitney,
Here.
Walter Clay,
Yeah.
myself, here, sorry, Melinda Shumway,
Yeah, here.
and we'll have Louis Calderella be the fifth vote, please.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, sorry, Catherine. Sorry, Louis, you can't be the fifth. Catherine is here. Thank you. Sorry, and Catherine will be the fifth.
I exist.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so moving forward, thank you. I see we have Peter Dos Haberle here for the 252 Lexington Road application.
Yes,
If you-
hi. My name is Peter Dawes Haberly. I'm from 63 North Hancock Street in Lexington, Mass. And I'm here for the 252 Lexington Road for Alex and Dave Dohan, who bought the house. I'm going to share something on the screen. Get started. So this house, can't remember exactly who was at our last hearing, but basically this house has already gone in front of the Historic District Commission. It's 252 Lexington Street. This is a house that is from 1914, and it's basically it's a kit house similar to the Sears kit houses, but this was actually produced by Aladdin Homes. So this is the house that we're at the moment restoring. This is a catalog showing where the house came from. So this is Aladdin Homes, and this is a 1914 catalog. And this is actually a picture of the house from 1914. So we've come in before the commission already to, approve work on the house. And what we are looking to do now is to sort out the garage for the house. So right now, this is the garage in the back of the house. It's in really tough shape. This is the best side of it. The rest of the, I think if you were to lean on it, might just tip over. So the idea is to take this garage down and put up a new garage in pretty much the same location. It's moving a little bit. It's moving a slightly bit closer to the house by a couple of feet, 2 feet, so that to make it zoning compliant. And it's being moved forward about 5 feet so that it's out of the wetlands do not build zone. So right now it's too close to the wetland. This is the view of the garage from the street. So not a huge amount of vision from the street. Certainly all of the back of the garage is not visible from the street. So it's the front and a little bit of the sides that are visible. So what we did was the original drawing showed a garage that was a little bit too ornate. And what we've done now is I was able to go back and research and actually find the entire 1940 catalog from Aladdin Homes. And I was able to find this page on it, which shows some of the garages that were available in that catalog from this company at the time. So basically, when we're looking at all of these things, the Packard garage fits the existing garage the most, you know, where you've got 2 doors on the front. They're not exactly centered, which is nice. It makes it less formal. And the ridge is parallel to the street. Whereas, you know, this ridge is, you know, perpendicular to the street, and this is a hip roof. So that's what we're aiming for. That's the garage that is an Aladdin Home garage that is closest to what we're looking for. So the idea is to build a new garage that's similar to that one from the Aladdin Home. So we'd have again, the ridge is parallel to the street like it is now and in that picture. The one difference is that we wouldn't use the clipped ridge that is in that one particular design, because the existing house doesn't have clipped ridges. The existing house has straight ridges and has some detail with exposed rafters. So, you know, you can see in these drawings here that this one has exposed rafters. It's going the wrong direction. It's not a two-car garage. This is a 2-car garage. It's got deep overhangs, which is similar, but we'll take out that clipped ridge. So this is the idea. Now this basically has the same square footage as the existing garage. So this is you know, like a relatively modest modern garage, you know, so it's 20 feet deep by 24 feet wide. That is exact, you know, it gives the exact same square footage as the existing garage. So we're not like overbuilding the property. And what I was looking to do is to have the same type of proportions as far as the door sizes and shapes vis-a-vis the size of the roof and the height of the ridge. To accomplish that, what I've done was move the ridge towards the center of the house. This gives a longer roof plane in the back, and that keeps the ridge from going up really high. So I don't really want this to dominate, you know, the house or the property. Want to keep the ridge down a little bit, keep it in proportion to the original dimensions. So that would be the side of the house. And again, very similar to this one where you have the two garage doors in the front and the entry door to the side. And so, you know, we have the same sort of fairly low edge line of the roof vis-a-vis the doors, and that's the same that trying to accomplish in this design here. So this shows, you know, what the footprint of the garage would be when it was done. So right now it's got basically the same shape. It's a square with a rectangle off the back, which is a little storage shed. And we've moved that, it's right in the center now. We've moved that to one side so that we can move it out of the wetlands do not build zone. The back of the garage will ideally have solar panels. These are not visible from any public way, and that's why they're on the back of the garage. But it will work well because that does face south. Let's see. The doors that we're looking to use are made by a company called Clopay. These are similar again to the doors of the original design, not quite as much glass as the original doors, but you know, as close as we could find. These doors, I've used them in the past. They're very well made. They are actually made, you know, the moldings are actually coped and put together, so they're actually put together like real wooden doors. They are not wooden doors just for longevity. These are made with these will be painted, but they're with a man-made material, some steel and some fiberglass and so those are that's for longevity factor. And then this is the light that we would use on the front. We might change that one. I'll come back to that. This is the roofing that we would be using. This is this is the same roofing that it was approved for the house. This is the door that we'd like to use on this garage. This is a fiberglass door. You know, the ones on the house that we're using are wood because they're more protected. This one, again, you know, just for longevity's sake, this would be we're ideally a fiberglass door, again, made to the same dimensions and details as a wood door. These particular specifications on this door, and this would be painted as well. So this is what that door is that we're proposing. And then we have these wood sash windows as well that we're proposing. Let's see. The colors again are what were approved for the house. The gentleman, Benjamin Moore Gentleman's Gray for the doors, Jamestown Blue for the siding, and Timid White for the trim. So that's the garage. Also with this, we're looking to do some work on the driveway. Now the driveway is going to stay largely the same. It's right now it's asphalt, paved asphalt, and it's going to stay that way. But there is a portion here, right now this is all paved asphalt. When we went in front of the Wetlands Commission, they were looking to have some of this impervious pavement, some sort of pervious paver. Now, you know, we'd like to use an actual natural stone or you know, like gravel or something like that, but that doesn't qualify as pervious. So we needed to look for something that could be qualify as pervious. So what we were looking to do is to sort of create a brick path, you know, connecting these steps from the house to the side door on the garage, and then differentiate that from a cobblestone parking area here. Again, the existing driveway is where my cursor is right now. So we are taking up a lot of, or a reasonable amount of pervious pavement or impervious pavement, just because this is near the wetlands. And this is the plan that was approved by the Wetlands Commission. So this shows how the garage is being pulled forward and out of this do not build zone here, and pulled this way a little bit so that we've got the 5-foot zoning clearance. And this is where they have the proposed permeable pavers. So with that, in that situation, what we'd like to do is use these, which are from Unilock. These are pervious pavers. They're made to look like granite cobblestones. And so we're trying to look for something that's, you know, not like a modern looking pervious paver type material. So this is what we would use in the cobblestone section. And then this is what they have for the brick section. So you know, these are pervious pavers, but they're made to look like actual brick. And I'm going to scroll up here. Apologize for the scrolling, but I'm going to just show you that picture of the driveway again, and just to give you an idea of where. So in this driveway, this would stay a paved driveway. Probably, you know, it's going to get repaved because it's in terrible shape. But so this would, you know, this would get repaired. But so this driveway would stay where it is, same dimensions. And then it's just in this portion here where my cursor is that we would have those pervious pavers. So this would all be the same asphalt that it is now. So wouldn't change that much from the public view. It's just on the side there where those pervious pavers would be. Let me see. So I think that's pretty much covers everything as far as the garage and the driveway that we're looking to do. And then there's one more question about a possible amendment to the house materials, but I'll bring that up after we talk about this. I'm going to scroll back up here for 1 second.
So.
Again, I apologize about all the scrolling, but it seems to be the way it works.
Appreciate
Well-
the thorough documentation.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Better to have more images than not. No apologies here. Peter, you've presented everything that is listed in the application, but you just mentioned there's something you want to review about the house shingling. Is that just?
Yes, when we
But so
applied
wait,
for the,
it's a separate, it's not part of the garage. It's just,
no, it's not part of the garage.
okay, I'm just trying to think if we should, let's discuss the garage now since you just reviewed that.
Okay.
Commissioners, I think. So I don't have any questions. I actually appreciate the care you took to keep it subordinate to the house, and I, like that you were able to reference the old catalog page.
Yeah.
But I don't have any questions, but other commissioners might. Tim, did you raise your hand, or was that just?
No, but I just have a couple of minor questions or comments. There's a note about board and batten. I assume that's just a typo.
That
On the
is just a
backside.
typo. My apologies. Yep.
Yeah, okay. And since I live just about 4 doors down from this house, I can verify that it's pretty darn hard to see that. Practically impossible, I think, with it if you're in a car or on the sidewalk, which is across the street, that small paved area that Peter's talking about. So I agree with his comment on that, and I also appreciate the thoroughness of researching these kit houses. It's a fascinating thing, I think, and
Yeah.
I think you've done a nice, simple, clever design. So those are my comments.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Let me see if anyone else has a hand raised. I don't have.
Oh, there's Peter, is the light fixture you said is it a dark sky fixture, or you had an issue with the light or something, the one sconce?
Yes. The sconce that I had picked out is not dark sky certified. So I think I might change the sconce. So if there was a way to approve the garage with a addendum that the sconce would change, I do have a dark sky sconce picked out, and I can show that to everyone here now if you'd like to see it. But the sconce that I had originally spec'd for this is not dark sky certified. So I'd like to, change that out.
We can show that, Kate, right? Get that
Yes.
folded in. So yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, Peter, and show us that fixture.
Okay, let me, so this one is a dark sky compliant fixture, and this one is similar to what we had drawn. This one is actually nicer because I was actually looking at a Sears catalog from the same time period that showed lighting, which was incredibly helpful for inside the house and outside the house. But this one does look very similar to one of those in the Sears catalog. This one is dark sky compliant. So I would just change from what we were looking at before to going to this one.
Sounds good.
It's a 40-watt equivalent fixture.
Yes. I will
It's dark sky.
go back
then
to my
make it
other
better.
sheet.
All right. Anyone else from the commission?
I would just say 2 things. One, all those garage names are car names from 14,
Indeed.
right? You pick up on that?
Wait, what are they?
They're all names of cars from 1914.
Oh, yes.
Winton was a car?
Lincoln?
Yeah.
Winton.
Yeah, Maxwell's, Packards. Yeah,
The
Jack Benny
Pierce?
drove a Maxwell.
Hmm. I see the
That
Buick, I
that was
guess.
the old fashioned tip there, but yeah, those are all cars, and that's why it's a Buick.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have room for a Ford touring car in that garage.
Right.
I just wanted to say thank you for moving the door around from the front to the side.
Yes,
Which is
absolutely.
borne out by the Packard design, actually, there. That's good.
Yeah.
The garage man being fiberglass doesn't bother me because it's around on the side and barely visible. The one question I had is to commissioners, we okay with non-wood garage doors? I am, but it's just something that,
I was paying attention to that. Do we have this? Well, I guess you showed us the cut sheet.
Yeah.
It's not a stamped metal door.
No.
right.
I've used Clopay a lot.
Oh, you have.
Clopay. It looks like it really does paint it look like a wood door. It's like a fiberglass Cheltman door that Peter's got on the side.
Mhm.
You'd be very hard pressed to note that it's a different kind of door. It's made of.
Yeah, so I have no problem with it. It's just something to mention. So
No, I know, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I
Walter, okay.
think though also in light of the wetlands and possible flood zones, we'll probably stay a bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other thoughts before I move it to public comment? We do have some
No,
members.
appreciate the diligence on the catalog search and making
Yeah.
it a companion to the house. I think it looks terrific.
I agree.
Yeah, very thorough application. It's great.
Okay, anyone in the public realm who's got a question or a comment on 252 Lexington Road? Let me see if I have any hands raised. Let's see any. All right. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to move it back to the commission and ask for a motion.
I move we approve the application for 252 Lexington Road as submitted.
All right, thank you very
With the
much.
right light, with the replacement
Oh,
of the light fixture.
Yeah.
As revised in its submission.
Okay, thank you. I'll go around for a vote. Catherine?
We need a second. But
Oh, sorry, I need a second.
I'm a second then.
Okay, good, you're a second. All right, then I'll go around for a vote then. Walter?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
Tim?
I
Melinda?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So that has passed for the garage. And Peter, did you have a question about your, another question about the siding or about the house?
I did have a question about the house. I'm just going to scroll down one more time just to show you what my question is. We originally had spec'd Marvin wood windows, wood double hung windows. We're interested in possibly changing to Anderson 400 windows, which are also a wood window. So this is, the Anderson 400 window. It's an all wood sash. It is painted. And this is the cut sheet here. And the reason is that just because, and this is an issue that the builder brought up, and I agree with. It seems that over the last couple of years that Anderson's been more reliable when it comes to customer service and parts and repairs and things like that. So and a little bit more. The windows are a little bit less of a lead time and things like that. And I tend to agree with him on that. So if and I had seen that the commission has in the past approved Anderson 400 windows, which are all wood sash. So I wanted to see if they would look the same dimensions and the same light pattern and everything. But I just wanted to see if that was something that the board would be amenable to.
And I think that's right, that they can swap out sort of essentially like for like. I mean, you're right, Peter, we see a lot of the Anderson 400 series, and we have for a while. But I don't think there's a conflict there. It'll need to be marked on your application, but I don't think we need to resubmit or. I mean,
Okay.
I guess we would have a vote for it, but.
Do you have any
and-
problem, Tim?
Hmm?
Ask Tim if he has any problem.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you had
Um,
to
No, the
oh,
only
you-
thing I was wondering about, Peter, was sometimes the Marvin profiles and sills are a little different from Anderson. Are these, is there any sort of difference in look? Sometimes Anderson aren't quite as historic looking, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
No, that's a good question. We were going to be using the same type of historic windowsills under both the Anderson and the Marvin. So both products wouldn't have had a beefy enough sill. So we would be adding the sill and we'll be adding the trim, whether we use Marvin or Anderson. So visually, that'll be the same for the casings and the sills.
Okay. I don't think there's any issue. I don't have any issue with that.
I'm just thinking procedurally, if, think about this. I think actually just a note can be made by the planner. That would be Ann Clifford in the application. Ann, does that sound right to you? I've lost her.
Yes, I guess since you've discussed it tonight, and right, if you just submit something in writing,
Okay.
specs.
Sure. I'll send that in. I'll send in the cut sheets and everything, and then I'll send them to you like I've done before. And I will also send in the new specs for that light that we looked at that is dark sky compliant.
Perfect. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and you don't think we need to vote on that? I don't, since that application's not up, I don't think so. Is that part of the
To
application?
be safe, I think I would.
Do it.
Maybe
All
vote.
right,
Yeah,
let's, okay,
as an amendment.
as an amendment.
Mhm.
Okay, can someone make a motion for an amendment to this application?
I move that we approve the revised Anderson 400 all wood painted window as submitted to replace the original Marvin windows, with the understanding that the sill will be beefed up like it was proposed in the original submission. Does that sound okay to you, Peter?
Yes, perfect.
Good, thanks. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Walter. I'll go around for a vote. Melinda? Aye. Catherine?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so it's now official.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks for bringing it up. Okay. Now moving on to the Anderson's house at 340 Main Street. And I think is Ben Herder going to present?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, here he
Great.
is.
Thanks. Yeah, so again, my name is Ben Herder from Studio DSK. And I'm also chair of the Carlisle Historical Commission. Betsy Rosa is also here from Studio DSK. And we're here representing both Melissa and Chris Anderson, owners of 340 Main Street. We had an opportunity to present to you guys informally back in August. So since then, we submitted a formal application. And so you have many more materials now to look at as we go through the review tonight. And we're very excited about this. We're excited about sharing this approach to this beautiful home on Main Street. And we hope that you'll see that the sensitivity that we carried through the design, and that they're all complementary and cohesive to both the existing house and the surrounding neighborhood. I'm going to share a quick overview of kind of the site for everybody. Some of you saw this back in August, but there's a handful of new faces on the line here as well. So let me pull this up. Okay. Can you see that cover slide with the 340 Main Street on it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, great. So just to orient you, let's see here. There we go. Okay, so where we are in town here, we're right in the Main Street Historic District, right at the junction of Main Street and Elm there, a little further down from Concord Academy. And here's the location on a historic map from 1875, just after it was built. So this house was built in the 1870s, depending on where you look. It's 1870 or it's 1875, but 1870s, and it was built for Henry Walcott. And the property runs from Main Street all the way back to the Sudbury River. It was built in the High Victorian Gothic style originally, and you can see that in some of the pointed arches on the windows and in some of the roof detail on the barge boards and the dormers here. And there's been an evolution to this house over time. It has had some additions put onto it and some, significant renovations done over time since the 1870s, primarily in the 1960s and then early 2000s. And here's an image of what it looks like today. So we believe it was in 2001 when there was a major renovation that happened to this property, where it kind of evolved from the stucco clad High Victorian Gothic home to something more resembling a stick style home, which was a contemporary style of the High Victorian Gothic. And so that's what it looks like today. In 2021, the Andersons and Studio DSK presented to the HDC the color change to the house. This was a yellowish cladding on the house previously, and this color scheme was approved back in 2021, in addition to a new landing, new stoop and stairs to this front portico area here. And again, for orientation's sake, we wanted to share this diagram here so that you can kind of understand how this house has evolved over time. So what you're looking at here in this image to the left is the original 1870s volume, a two-story volume with a two-story pavilion in the front, including the bays on the left and right. There was a two-story L in the rear back in the 1870s, and over time, some of the areas between the main volume and the L have been added onto and brought up, have gone from one story to two-story, and then even further back in 1967 and then 2001, this single-story garage became a 2 to 2.5 story volume towards the rear. And so again, to give you some sense of context, these are just a few of the images. There are many more in the packet that was submitted to you. But these are the views of the primary facade of the building along Main Street. And you can see that on the left-hand side of the property, which is the west-hand side, you can see down the side yard, down the driveway, and glimpse the bay here and some of the additions beyond. On the east, on the right-hand side of the house, some of those views are obscured, at least up to 6 feet in height, because of an existing fence that's right here under my cursor. and a view from the Sudbury River.
Hmm.
So this is all the way down at the water. You know, given the drought, I was able to step a little bit further down into the bank there. You can see where the water rises up to in the foreground of this image. So we are a good distance from the house on the rear. And in the site plan, you can appreciate that even further. So we're just shy of 200 feet from the banks of the Sudbury River. And so to give you a quick overview of what we are proposing to do here before we get into the detail, what you're seeing here in the gray is the existing house as it stands today. What we are proposing to enhance this house here is to add a sunroom to the eastern elevation of the house, a single-story sunroom here, a rebuilt porch and associated stair to the western elevation of the house, and then in the space in between the existing L here and the rear of the house here, we're proposing a single-story screen porch and a revised patio space. There's an existing patio space there currently. So again, these are some sketchy elevations, but just to give you a sense of where the interventions are before we get into the detail. So everything that's shown in tan here is the existing 1870s volume of the house. And the intention here is really to try to preserve that portion of the house as much as possible. Again, that Main Street facade we find to be the more precious elevation on the house. And so we're trying to be respectful of that. So what you're seeing here is the front facade along Main Street. This dashed line here is representing the fence line in the front yard. So everything beyond that, even though we're representing it in yellow here, you can't really perceive that from the street, at least below the line. Everything in yellow is what we're proposing, and everything that has no color was an addition added after the 1870s and the 60s and later in the 2000s. Early 2000s. So on the east here, you can see that the only intervention that we are proposing in this 1870s portion of the house are two windows on the eastern elevation of what is their dining room on the first floor. Those windows would match the existing windows flanking it. As you move back further towards the river, you can see the sunroom addition and chimney, a rebuilt addition here, new windows, new roof, a screen porch, revised patio. This is a new window in the upper gable here. And then on the top right, we have, and you'll see this in the following drawings, but we have an existing roof deck here. There's no roof over it. It's a step out roof deck from the main bed suite. And so we're enclosing that space to become part of the interior environment and putting a roof over it. New window, a new door. And on the rear, you can still appreciate some of what's happening on the left here. It's the sun room again and chimney. Here's the screen porch again. The roof deck infill, and then in the gable here, next to the roof deck, this is also an exterior space. It's sort of a sleeping porch up there, and so both the roof deck and the sleeping porch are intended to be infilled in this. And what you can see in this elevation is that all of this intervention is happening within the additions that were done in the early 2000s. And then completing that picture around to the western elevation, again, 1870s volume to the right. And then the interventions are all happening within the early 2000s additions to the house. So that's kind of high level. I want to now share the elevations that were part of the package that we submitted, which give a little bit more of a complete picture there. So I'll go elevation by elevation. Please jump in if you have any questions or comments. So we'll start with the south elevation towards Main Street. And with all of these, I want keep in mind that all of the windows and doors on these elevations, proposed elevations being on the bottom, existing on the top. All the windows and doors that have a hexagonal tag on them, like these ones over here, are new windows. And if they don't have a tag on it, they are existing to remain. And materials and colors on this, which is also in our, we have another document that was submitted. We're trying to maintain as best as possible the existing palette of colors around the house. So all of the clapboards within the body of the house right now are a Buckland blue, Benjamin Moore color, beaded clapboard, and all of the trim is a floral white by Benjamin Moore. And so we are maintaining that color palette around the house. Where asphalt is called for, we're matching existing, and where standing seam metal roofing is called for, it is a red copper standing seam metal to match existing.
That standing seam on that addition on the sunroom?
Correct. Yeah, yeah, here and here. And we've also highlighted lighting around these elevations as well. And the intention with all of that was to be in compliance with the principles of dark sky as well. So with that, I'll start with the existing elevation here. So we wanted to highlight that under this portico roof here in the front, point to the image there, we do have a small surface mounted ceiling fixture in that porch. And we would like to replace that with another fixture. And that is shown right here. It is under the roof. It does not have full cutoff, but because it's under the roof, we felt that this would be in the spirit of the dark sky principles compliance.
Is it visible from the street, or is it hidden by a soffit? Or
it's this the ceiling is tucked up behind this roof plane here, Bill. So you can't see it from the street. You'd see the glow of the light from the street, but not the fixture itself.
Thank you.
Yep. Additionally, in the existing south elevation here, what you're seeing here is a gazebo, which is, I'll go back to the, if I could. I'm going to go back to the site plan so you can see where that is. So that elevation is being pulled from, from Main Street on the right side of this plan. That existing gazebo is way back here. So it's about 100 feet from the street. And the intention is to demolish that. It's not a historic gazebo. It was built in 2009. In the proposed elevation below, you can kind of look up and down and see where the where the differences are. You can see the sun porch here, where again, the intention is to have windows that match the existing. These are Pella Reserve wood windows to match the Pella Reserve wood windows that are in the house. Now, this would have white trim to match the main house, Buckland blue infill panels underneath the windows, and a red copper roof around the top. This addition here is rebuilt. It is an existing form right now. It needs a new roof, and we're putting in some new windows there as well to match the existing. On the right-hand side of this elevation, there's the fence along the property line that will remain intact. We're not touching that. We have talked about putting in a fence that runs perpendicular to that property fence. In recent conversations with Chris and Melissa, we're thinking that we don't need that fence. So since this was submitted and today, this fence would no longer be there as part of the proposal. I'll come around the east now. Okay, so on the east, again, as I showed in that diagram earlier, the only thing that we're proposing to do in the main 1870s volume on the left side of this image are these two windows here and here. And then to the right of that, to the east, you're seeing the sunroom and this bump out here. All single story, trying to keep the scale of these interventions subdued and minor and secondary to the primary forms of the existing house. What we do have coming out of that sunroom is a new chimney that runs along the gable face through the roof edge, and then culminates with very subdued, detailed chimney that matches the chimney to the northwest, which you can see over here. So it's very subtle detailing. There's no intention of trying to match the original chimney on the main volume of the 1870s portion of the house, but something that is complementary to it.
What is that new chimney servicing?
Fireplace down on the first floor. A living room fireplace.
That's an addition.
It's the living room is it's a renovated space. Yeah. It's not part of the addition. The sunroom is the addition. Yeah.
I understand.
Okay. And then moving further south to the right of the page, or sorry, north to the right of the page, we have the replacement patio here with a single story screen porch here. We have screen panels between all of the columns, phantom screen panels that would get tucked up underneath this frieze at the top. The design of the top of this screen porch is intended to make references to, head heights of windows on adjacent building forms, as well as making reference to the front portico at the front of the house, where there is some fun detail underneath the beams, some decorative detailing over there. And so what we are proposing for the infill of these panels is not open like the front portico, but a vertical shiplap cladding. So it's a panelized cladding system here, stiles and rails and infill panels.
Again, is that visible from the street?
It's visible from the river, not from the street. Moving further south, or sorry, I'm getting my directions all messed up. Further north towards the river. You can see that there are a couple new windows in the elevation here. So there's an existing pair of French doors coming out of the bay out to the existing deck. And we're replacing that with a pair of windows. Directly above that, we have 2 single double hungs, and we're adding a third along the axis of that ridge. So in keeping with the balance of this gable form here. And then as we move over to the roof deck infill area, you can see that in the existing, the addition here, this wall plane here is coplanar with the gable here. So that form kind of spills out to the north. What we're intending to do here is to kind of reestablish some balance underneath this gable form here, and some verticality in this elevation, which would be in keeping with the Gothic proportions towards the front of the house. And so everything in the corner here from the first floor up to this roof deck infill would be trim and infill shiplap panels, vertical shiplap panels, similar to what we're proposing for over the screen porch there. And again, this is visible from the river, not from the street. New windows in that infill, and then on the first floor, where there's currently 1 window, we're proposing a door and a window. So a door to access that new patio space. Lastly, on this elevation, just in terms of lighting, you can see in the elevation above, we're removing a few fixtures. So we're removing a sconce here, here, and then there's one on the second floor at the roof deck here. And we are proposing only 1 new fixture on the exterior over the new egress door to the right side of the proposed elevation. And we can look at that specification as needed. I should mention also that all of the lighting that we're proposing, in addition to the fixtures being in line with dark sky principles, that we're trying to keep the color temperature down to 2700 Kelvin. So a nice warm light, nothing too bright or blue. Moving around to the riverside, where on the north, so most of this elevation is from 2001 on the upper elevation here. And similar to what we were talking about on the east elevation, what we were just looking at, we're trying to reestablish some balance underneath this gable form here by pulling some, I'll call it corner board trim down to the water table down here. This wall is coplanar with this wall. This is an existing wall. We're not intending to change the planes of these walls. We're trying to maintain existing there, but we're trying to draw some distinction between this gable form and this infill in the corner here. A subtle thing in this elevation is we have an existing fenced-in trash receptacle area here. It's part of the fence system on the rear of the house. It is in major disrepair, and so we are proposing to just remove it and patch the fence back against the garage behind it. The lighting on this facade, in the existing state, you have 3 floodlights on the rear, marching along this horizontal band up at the second floor level. And we're proposing to remove 2 of those and maintain one of those locations. The driveway is down to the right-hand side of this elevation. Oh, sorry, there's one other light fixture on this elevation. So there's an existing sconce next to the door that enters the garage over here. And we are replacing that fixture with a new dark sky compliant sconce. And again, completing the picture, coming around to the west elevation, which is the driveway side of the house. So in this elevation, the main street is up to the right, river's down to the left. We're not proposing anything within the 1870s portion of the house. Everything is behind that. The primary intervention on this side of the house is the entry porch and associated stairs that go down to the level of where their garage doors are. And the goal of this is to make it a more functional entry porch for the family, scale it down to only what's needed here, as well as create something that is relating to the existing context of the house. And you can see that it's balanced well with the existing windows above it. It's also on axis with an internal axis that runs through the center of the house on the interior. Maintaining materials on this elevation to what is existing. This roof here, in contrast to the roofs of the sunroom on the other side, this roof is asphalt, which is the same as the roof over the bay here and the primary roof above. Some new window locations on the second floor, main bed area, here, and here. And then some new windows in new kitchen space where I'm circling right now. From a lighting perspective, we're basically replacing fixtures in existing locations. So there are 2 sconces flanking the garage doors here and here. And we're replacing those fixtures with dark sky compliant sconces. The existing porch has 2, let's see here, 2 ceiling mounted fixtures that match the one under the portico on the front. And we'd like to remove those with this new porch and put in a new ceiling mounted fixture, again, same as what we're putting at the front of the house. So I know there's a lot more detail that we have presented in the packet, but I'd love to, at this point, open it up to questions. Thank you for this opportunity to share all this with you.
Okay, you're muted.
Hey.
Muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Ben, for the thorough documentation and for that thorough review. I have some questions, but I can let other commissioners speak first with any questions, comments.
I have a little comment on the windows on the eastern elevation.
Okay.
I definitely recognize that, that 2000 addition, it kind of improves it a lot in many ways. But in terms of the part that's in the original house, it's sort of a big deal to add 2 extra windows to that 2-story bay, which is original and very vertical and very Victorian. And to kind of put those windows flanking the bay is very modern and not really in keeping. That's the main part of the house. historic part of the house, it seems particularly unhistoric to do that. Whereas I can see why the rest of the windows make sense to you.
Okay.
I share that same concern, Louis, on that same side. But I would also apply it to the second story as well. The part of the house that's in the back, that third window in the middle. I
This
just
window
think,
here, Kate, sorry to interrupt.
no, yeah, yep, that one. I can understand, using more modern fenestration in addition. But one thing that frequently gives a number of us pause is going back into the original house and adding windows and, and kind of more of a modern array. And these, houses had long, tall windows. They, this one doesn't, but, typically a house from this period would also have sort of oriel windows or arched windows or, tracery. And I think a lot of these rectangular windows would make for a very modern look throughout the whole house, not just any new parts. And that is a concern.
Okay. Could I respond to that, Kate?
Let's just see if anyone else has some questions.
Okay.
They may be digesting it. Let's see. I don't see anyone.
I'd like to say that the sunroom actually bothers me. You lose the original part of the house, and I have not had a chance to go up and down the street to see if anybody else has added something like that. But I just, you're putting something on the back. It's not going to show as much, but I do think that the sunroom would conflict with the original home.
Walter?
That's essentially what I was going to say. There are a couple things in part of the written proposal, and I don't know where it is. There was a reference to trying to maintain the originality of the 1870 portion of the house, which is really what is left, and the facade. And I believe you described the Main Street facade as precious before. And my first reaction to any of these drawings was that the addition of the sunroom on the side extends and desymmetrifies the facade even more than it is from the last round of renovations and additions. It really bothers me, and the idea that there is then going to be standing seam roofing on it just further accentuates to me that it's not that part of what you see as facing the street there is not original. I find it off-putting, certainly to say the least. I'd use stronger words for my opposition to it aesthetically, but I'm going to stop there. And the chimney as well. I understand, and then I'll stop. I understand if there's a need for the chimney, but it's just one more disconcertion on the facade that I see from the street. Now I'm done.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's see, and it seems like it's the east elevation here that's drawing the most interest. Before we have Ben discuss this, is there anything, any other parts of the plan that commissioners would like clarification on?
No.
Okay, so Ben, why don't you,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with, I'll start with Melinda's comment about the sunroom. Well, Melinda and Walter's comments about the sunroom. What will be appreciated more on site, perhaps, than in these drawings is how far back this is. The sunroom from the front volume of the house. This is the 1870s portion. I'm just clicking on the, four corners of it there. And this, the sunroom is in line with an existing addition that was added onto in 2001, but it is behind that front facade. So as far as balance is concerned, we feel like there's some distance there that the balance of the front elevation would still be preserved, in addition to the fact that it's a single story. I would recommend going out to the site to look at some of the other houses in the area, because there is a sunroom similar to what we're proposing here. I think just the next door over, to the left-hand side of this. They have a similar addition on the right-hand side of their house that has, mulled window walls around a room. So in terms of context and, similarities to other buildings in the area, we felt like this was in concert with that. The standing seam metal roof as a material, the existing roof right now here is standing seam metal roof, red copper metal roof. And so we were picking up off of that materiality, in addition to the fact that the copper, the gutters and downspouts are also red copper. So there is some precedent for that material choice on this elevation. And we felt that it was not foreign. It felt like it was more in keeping with the existing context. And I guess the chimney question, Walter, my response would be similar to just the addition of the sun porch over here. We feel like the distance back from the front facade is might be enough distance to allow for a new roof element here. I should also mention that in the existing drawing, there's currently an antenna, sort of a spider-like antenna on top of the roof. I'm not sure I have a good image of that. Hold on a second. Let's see. Apologies. Let's see here. Okay. See if we can get a better.
I know from antennas.
I'm sorry, Walter?
Said, I know from antennas.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah, you can see it up there now.
Yeah.
So this roof would be going along this wall, through that roof and extending up only as much as it needs to by code, and terminate with a similar chimney cap as not that chimney. Let's see if I have a good image of it in this package of materials. I think this is probably the best image in this packet. The drawings probably do it better service. You can't see the detail as well in this image, but the drawing represents it accurately. So we're trying to match that as a secondary chimney to the primary in the front. Let's see. I guess, Kate, to your comment about the windows in the second floor. So again, trying to maintain balance within this elevation over here. I hear you about the amount of windows in this elevation. What's happening on the interior is that we have a division of spaces. We have a wall here and a wall here. So this window here is serving the water closet within the bathroom space, which we would like to have some daylight in and not have it be on the exterior wall without any daylighting.
Mhm. Does it need to be a full-sized window? I mean, it would not, you know, in a house like this, it would not be out of character for a different sized window in that situation. This particular house happens to have fairly uniform windows, even the original ones, but that would not be necessarily an unusual thing. I just.
Yeah, I'd say we could look at an alternative if Melissa and Chris are open to something smaller. I think getting the thumbs up. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, we could look at an alternative to a full-size window in that space.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, someone?
It's Bill. Yeah, I just, if I do the math right, and it depends on which you count as an existing window, it looks like there's 13 or 14 new windows on this elevation, which just strikes me as a huge number. And somewhere between adding 0 and adding 15, I just wonder if there isn't a slightly less intrusive, particularly in the first story.
So this is certainly where most of the intervention is. I'll use that word again. The two windows here that Lewis commented on here, this is all one space, and just trying to bring in as much daylight and provide as much views out from that space to the yard. And in these other locations, it's not so much about adding new windows as it is about replacing existing ones with new openings. So this existing single-story form here has windows on one side and a French door on the other side. So we're replacing those openings with newer windows. The sun porch or the sun room is different because this is completely a new addition here. This is a fairly blank wall. The only thing that you see on the existing wall over here is a hood from the current kitchen in that location. And so these windows here are all serving that sunroom.
I guess my point is, and I understand, one by one, these make sense. It's when I stand back and look at it, it's the addition of, depending on how you count, 12 or 13 new openings. It's just a lot. And therefore, the composition, the one by one argument that you're making, I accept that and agree with it, but it adds up to something that it's a pretty significant change.
I feel looking at the east elevation with the windows the way they are now, I would have a hard time determining the style of this house. And that's probably not a good thing for a historic commission to be taking on, whereas I would have a better chance with the one above.
The what above, Greg?
The picture above, the unaltered picture, I could probably have a pretty good chance, kind of guessing the era of this house. With all the windows on the proposed elevation, it just seems incongruous. It's a great looking design, and I'm sure it really benefits the house, but that's not really our remit. So that, that was my concern in August, or not concern, but that was something I was, caught my eye in August with the initial review, and still does now. And I guess I'm certainly not alone on the commission feeling that way. Tim, what are your thoughts?
I think I generally agree with most of the comments made. I mean, just doesn't. I mean, there's a lot about this I like. I have to say. I mean, there's a lot that's been cleaned up, lot that's been removed that solves problems. So
I agree.
and I like the massing. I personally don't have a problem with the sunroom form. A couple of comments. I think what would help here, Ben, is if we could see this three-dimensionally. Right now, it's just all flat elevations, which even for trained architects never tells the story, as you know. So if we could see it either with Revit or SketchUp or whatever you use, this is a project I think we need to view three-dimensionally. And maybe you have, so that's just one comment. Second comment is, there is this sort of uniformity of windows. It's the same 2/2 windows that are kind of wallpapering this facade. That I appreciate the other commissioners' comments on that. Rather than saying, can you play with sizes of windows or types of windows so that it isn't just taken, it almost looks like every window is practically identical. Another comment and question is, could you, the sunroom addition in those era houses was not an unusual sort of folly appendage, but could it be almost perceived as a flat roof rather than a pitched roof on some of these? Would that lessen the impact? So it's not this kind of pitch that's not Gothic. It's something else. I know there's some precedent on the house elsewhere because there's lots of different roof appendages, but I wonder if that sun porch could benefit from something that's almost, like just a few inch pitch metal standing seam metal roof rather than whatever it is, 2 and 12.
Similar to, sorry, Tim, go ahead.
Yeah. And then I share that, especially on the existing main house, I'm sure there's all kinds of very good reasons as Kate said, of introducing natural light to these spaces. But I would view that side, as I look at the existing old house on the upper facade and one on the bottom one, something is lost when solid wall becomes glass on that first floor. It's gone. It's become less precious, and and I know you appreciate that. You and the owners clearly appreciate the quality of that existing building, and something is lost when those 2 windows are added. So that's another comment. I don't know, Kate and other commissioners on the other facades, are we struggling with the same amount of glass, or is it really just this facade? Maybe, Dan, if you could just flick to the north facade and then the west facade comparison. And by the way, I think this presentation is extraordinary. I think it's so thorough. I just want to compliment you on this. So I guess again, it's just there just seems to be this repetition of the same window. I mean, I know there's slightly different sizes, but it gets blurry as to where is this relative to the original house. At first blush, it looks great, but there's I don't know, it looks like there's about the same amount of glass on this side. Could you go to the west facade, just?
Yep.
So I can remind myself what that is as well. I mean, there's been some windows added, but you know, Kate and others, is this? Do we have the same concerns that were raised for this west facade as the east facade? I'm just curious what others think.
East comes in, top attention getter for me, east then west, north since it's in the back. And yeah, since also the north facade right now anyway is, needs cleaning up, but I can't say I would look at the west or the east and say, oh, this needs cleaning up per se, I could say it about the north, and so it's kind of lower down for me, the scale. But I just see a lot of windows and a lot of symmetric work being done, which in theory is nice, but it's not something we always necessarily embrace. I'm thinking of the Powerhouse on Wood Street, where they wanted to move some, that was, I think Robert Drew was on that. Where they wanted to move around windows and add a few to kind of make it better for the kids' bathrooms on the inside and stuff. And we were sort of trying to work with that, and suddenly we thought, well, no, wait, this is, how it is. And this is what conveys the authenticity of this house.
I mean, Tim, it's Bill. The west building, the cleanup of the garage-oriented porch, I think looks terrific. And I don't have the same because it's just fewer new openings. Could you preserve the asymmetry of the left-hand side there, that west elevation on the second story? Maybe, but it's the east that
Yeah,
just
I think
jumps a little.
I think, Kate, what you're bringing up, which I appreciate, is there's in the cleaning up, if you want to call it cleaning up, every gable, every piece has become symmetricized. I know that's not a word, but there's a very conscious effort to make each portion of this elevation symmetrical. And in the process, some of the randomness is lost, which gives even the newer part in the back some of its charm.
Well, if I can say, it's not that its randomness is lost, it is that it is added on, compounded. It's not the randomness, it's that there's more intervention on the other. And I think my take on it is the west is not as egregious as the east side, but this is in between. To me, this is 65% too much, and the other is 95. So it's a sin of addition, not of I don't know, whatever. I'm going to stop making up words.
Thank you.
I think it might be interesting to see maybe a site visit, just to know if the sunroom is far back enough so that it doesn't really interfere with the look of the front.
Yes, that's true, actually, to the Andersons and to Ben. For something of this size, we always have a site visit, for good reason, and it's always very late. Assuming that's all okay with you, that would be the morning of the next meeting, so 3 weeks from now. And it's always very helpful. So does anyone else have any questions for now, since we will be having a site visit? Anything, or you want to sort of wait till then?
No,
I think
All right. Could somebody make, public comment? Anyone out there with a question or a comment on 340 Main Street?
Could I make one more comment, Kate? Would that be okay?
Yes. Yes, please.
Well, I think it might just be beneficial for those that were not at the informal presentation. I didn't include these 3Ds tonight, but since it was mentioned, I thought it would be helpful to show
Oh, yeah.
kind of where we were in August. So, and this is mostly unchanged here, but what you can see in this image is Main Street's bottom left here. Here's the existing fence to remain, and here's the sunroom here with the chimney poking up beyond. So just to give you a sense of depth, which I don't think the elevations were doing well enough for you. And you can also probably appreciate that that sun or a screen porch and patio beyond are pretty much out of sight from Main Street. And I think, yeah, there it is from the rear, from the river view. So, again, trying to balance some of these areas across the elevations, create some distinction in this corner that is an existing condition, and we're trying to clad it to distinguish it differently from the main body of the forms left and right. So if that helps, I agree with you. I think a site visit would be very helpful to really get a better appreciation for the depth of the site and where these forms rest upon it.
No, that's great. So I'm assuming that's amenable to the Andersons. It looks like there's no further comment from the public or any comment from the public. So if a commissioner could make a motion, that would be great.
Before we do that, just say one thing. It may be beneficial for commissioners to go back and see the informal presentation, which is on video. So that's available if anybody wants to see that.
Thank you, Walter. Walter, why don't you make a motion while you're at it?
What?
Huh?
I move that we schedule a site visit prior to our next meeting at 8 in the morning for 340 Main Street and continue the application until the meeting that evening.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'll go around for a vote. Tim? Catherine?
Aye.
Melinda?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
And I am an aye. And so we'll continue this application till our next meeting, which will be on October 23rd, 22nd.
October 22nd.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we would be there. Oh, yeah. So that we'll meet there at your house. I don't think we need anything marked. Sometimes, we ask like, can you fly a balloon? So we get an idea of, a height. I don't, roof lines aren't the issue on this one. It's more visualizing the windows. I don't know if you want to, Melinda, do you think it would be helpful if Ben could have the footprint of the sun porch marked out or anything like that?
I think if we, unfortunately, I'm not going to be around that meeting because I'm traveling, but I think just being there, we'll see how close it feels from the front. I don't quite understand why you need the screen porch and a sunroom, but obviously you want a lot of light, which we don't have enough of in this neck of the woods, but it just seems like overkill to me a little bit. But honestly, if we just go and see the distance for ourselves, I think that'll be enough.
Okay, all right. So anyway, we just show up, we look around. Yes, Ben, yes, Tim?
Excuse me. I think they should at least just stake the corners of the sunroom. Just so we,
Yeah,
I just think they don't have to have the height, but
just stakes.
I
Because
agree.
waving arms is not as effective.
How about this? We're not going to require anything, but anything that can be done as a visual aid would be helpful.
It might. We can do that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Then I think that's it. We've voted, yeah. So we will see you then. Thank you for this thorough and patient review, and we look forward to seeing it all in person. Yes? Ben?
Would you like all of us to be there for your site visit on the 22nd? How do you like to do that?
Usually if it's just someone from DSK who can sort of show us around Anderson's, you don't have to be there. And Ben, if you can't make it, but an associate can, it's fine, yeah.
Yeah, I think, we'll be there. So, thank you guys for your feedback and time tonight. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to the next chance to talk this through.
No, it's a great project. It's a great house, so it'll be nice to see in person.
Appreciate the professional package and discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Okay, thanks a lot. Good night.
All right, good night.
Let's see. So that is the last of our applications tonight. We have some minutes review, and it's not on the agenda, but for those who are able to do so, just a quick review of next year's schedule. So first, let's do the minutes, of which there are many.
Would you like me to address the minute?
I really would, actually.
Okay.
I really would.
I did go through the minutes. There was one very minor pagination question. Other than that, everything seems to be just dandy. So I would recommend that we approve them as submitted.
Okay. A motion to approve the minutes, please.
I'll move that we approve minutes.
Second.
If we were getting paid, I'd say Walter should get a raise.
Well, I'll see what we can do, but I don't know. I'll save that I'll save that for when you're chair, Tim. Okay. All in favor of the minutes being approved? We can just all say aye.
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 That's great. That's terrific that we got rid of a bunch of those. So if you had a chance to see the email I sent a few days ago, the two queries were one, going forward for 2026, everybody okay with it still being every third Wednesday for meeting? I think that's worked pretty well, particularly for the veterans of us who used to have to do it every 2 weeks on a Thursday night, which was not as fun for some reason. So, okay, we'll stick with that. And then the other, just thought, is meeting in person maybe a few times a year. It's, I think I mentioned in my message, it's been suggested when people, Luis was one, Paul Ware was another, somebody else when they came off the commission said, something, they felt sort of something was lost by us never meeting in person. Even if it's just the commission at the planning office and the people are still presenting virtually. But it's also much easier to get attendance, not just for the public, but for also commissioners when it is like this. So questions, thoughts, comments?
I'd like the idea of getting together every now and then in person, just for fun.
Well, it's
in a hybrid fashion so that people can join, but.
Right. I mean, if we did it, Tim suggested, say, after every 3 meetings, we meet, virtually, we meet in person, which only comes out to 4 or 5 meetings a year.
I think that's a good cadence.
You think so?
I agree.
Let's give it a try, say we like it.
True. Right. So does everyone, and Kristen, sorry, did you just say something?
I was going to say, it'd be lovely to actually see everyone's true faces.
Yes.
Well, true. And we can't also really, I mean, there are site visits, but it's hard for some people to make site visits. And also site visits, we're not really supposed to sort of, connoiter about, particularly. So it's, I happen to know almost all of you, but I know some people who haven't met in person, any of the other commissioners. So that's not good as a group. So we think we should give it a whirl.
Great.
So like, Kate, like a 3-in-1 thing, 3 Zoom, 1
Yeah, I thought,
in person.
that was right. That was your thought.
I couldn't remember what I said, but
I wrote it
Uh,
down. Tim said this. Okay, so
Can I just say, it'd be nice not to have to, well, first of all, I'm coming off into January after however many years. So I don't really care, but I do think that it's nice not to do it in the middle of winter because it's just icy and it's cold. And so make sure you do it in the spring or the fall and
that's actually a good point. Maybe we just say
because
that.
it's a drag.
that's a
Actually,
really good point.
I remember when we first went to virtual, like that first January, and thinking, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
I can do this by my fire. So that's a good point, Melinda. And of course, it, kind of also depends on if, Anne can kind of make it work. I don't know what it takes out of the staff in the office, but she and I can talk about that. But okay, we're going to try to figure something out. Excellent. I don't think we need to vote on that, but we do need a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, we can just do this one. Aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks so much, everybody, for coming. out tonight.